Welcome back across Nevada to Ralston Reports. We're talking about the uncontroversial issue of Obamacare. We're actually finding some good things to say about it with an expert from the Lindsay Institute over at UNLV. So let's talk about some of these things. The women are going to have covered under this, no copays that they didn't exist before. You mentioned well woman visits. I think we talked about that already. So let's go on to the next one. Screening for gestational diabetes. Talk about why that's so important.
Well, gestational diabetes not only puts the woman in risk, but it puts the child in risk, because gestational diabetes is where you become diabetic while in utero, while the baby is being, and those babies are usually much larger. They can be up to 12 pounds, so it puts the mother at risk at the time of birth as well as the baby at risk. It puts stress on the entire birthing process.
What's the screening for that? Is it how simple is it? You
check the A1C, the level of your sugar.
So it's just a blood test? It's
a blood test, and but A1C is over time, and then you also know how to treat it. The mother can check her. They treat her like a diabetic then. So she has to monitor her sugar intake. She checks her blood sugar, and then may take medicine over time to make sure.
So that covers the health of two human beings,
exactly.
Right? Here's one that we've heard a lot about, which is the human papillomavirus
HPV.
Test, which can HPV, which we know can be a precursor to cervical cancer.
Exactly.
That's very, very important. And so, are there a lot of women who just don't get tested for that?
Well, so it used to be. It's really kind of funny. Everybody's heard of the one less. And what happened was before the HPV, the actual test to get the genetic testing for HPV was about $200. And they didn't test it as part of your pap smear. Now they actually test it as part of the pap smear. So now it's included. Before it was not, and it would be a $200 add-on. And in fact, it's estimated by the CDC that about actually anybody who's sexually active is estimated to have HPV at one point. There's about 123 strains of HPV. Only 4 of them go into cervical cancers or whatever else. So by testing for it, at least you know, 1, if you have it, 2, if it's one of the ones that go into cervical cancer, or if it's one of the ones that your body can naturally expel. And then also, if you are pregnant or something along those lines, whether or not it's something we need to be concerned about for the babies.
Well, let me show all of the rest of them, because we don't have that much time, and then we can talk about the ones you think are most important. I just want to show all of them. Counseling for sexually transmitted infections. Counseling and screening for human immune deficiency virus, HIV. Contraceptive methods and counseling. Breastfeeding support, supplies, and counseling. Screening and counseling for interpersonal and domestic violence.